Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the Comicsgate Commandos number 37. We got a real killer of a show for you guys tonight, but let me introduce my co-hosts first before we get started. We got Colonel Carbon Hart. Hail, Carbon. Carbon.
Hail. Good evening, everyone. Good to be here.
Yes, it's very exciting. I can already tell I'm on a delay, so once I introduce our special guest, I'll hop out and hop back in.
You seem okay, actually.
No good. Really? Because
your audio is synced up with the video.
You're popping in like 2 to 3 seconds late.
Oh.
Okay, well,
don't worry about
we'll figure it out. Next we have our resident doctor, Dr. Ben. What's up, Dr. Ben?
Nothing much. Just another beautiful day here in comics.
Yes, sir. And all the way from his special mission that he's still doing in El Salvador, we have Frederick. Come on. What's up, Frederick?
Coming to you live from Bitcoin Beach, El Zonte in El Salvador. I am now trilingual, which means I'm trying to learn a third language here. How you doing, everybody?
Hail, Mr. Gumon.
Good to have you.
Bitcoin Bandit. I love it.
That's right.
Yes, sir. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce our very special guest for this evening, the legendary Mike Barron. What's going on, Mike?
Plenty. I hardly know where to begin.
Sure.
Well, I'm sure everybody on our panel here has a lot of questions for you. It's a rare treat that we get to interview somebody of your stature.
Somebody so old.
What I'm going to do here is no.
It's all right.
I have to jump out. I have to restart my computer because I'm behind all of you guys. I will be back in like 2 minutes, but I leave it in the capable hands of my commandos. I'll be right back.
All right.
Hello, Mr. Barron. How are you?
Guys, doing good.
Nice to meet
Bloody
you.
Red Baron himself.
Are those blue blocker glasses you've got there, Mike Barron?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I just saw an incredible speech here at the conference about blue blockers and how important they are for the melatonin in your body and all that. Like, it does a real difference, apparently.
Really? My wife got it for me. She said, here, you got to wear them.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, man. There's a lot of little things that computers are kind of hurting our health in subtle ways that we don't know about. Like, that's one of the reasons, like, Steve Jobs died so early. Like, he was always working with his laptop on his knees and, like, burning through his organic material with his battery and all the radiation and all that. You got to be careful about that. Got to have a layer of protection with all the technology we've got today. We've got radiation everywhere.
Should I carry my cell phone in my pocket?
Well, I think we need to have them like in specialized cases, to keep the radiation from burning through our precious.
What about that?
We got like lead-lined pants.
What if I wrap them in aluminum foil?
Well, that's the thing. I think everyone needs an aluminum foil hats, aluminum foil clothing, and that's the new fashion we got to start.
Yeah, let's not pull out the tinfoil hats just yet, Frederick.
Keep that for the second half of the show.
All right.
I do need to let you know I'm a big fan of Private American. I backed it as soon as it was released, and I think I got it like in the first week of fulfillment. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Out of fulfilling on time or ahead of time. I had a second issue written and is dynamite. The thing is, this recent election has upset everything, and the comic was written for the present administration, not the future administration. By the time it appeared, it would be very dated.
Huh. You don't want to do like maybe an alternate universe America?
No, I hate
kind of keep it the real world.
Oh yeah, keep it real. That's what I'm saying.
Is it set in a specific year? So it could be still set in the previous administration, date-wise. I mean.
I suppose, but it still it deals with a vindictive FBI that comes and raids Pendergast's house. And when they get there, they find out that the whole thing is filled with immigrants because he gave it over to them before fleeing the country. But there's a lot of funny stuff in it too. I introduced 2 characters that will make your head explode. I still want to do it again, but I have to talk it over with my guys like Chris and Richard who drew it. But we have a new project in the works for Richard that you're going to love. And in the meantime, the pipeline is jammed. I mean, it's not like I'm not putting stuff out. I got a whole bunch of Nexus in the works with some very surprising artists that you're going to love.
Oh, yeah.
And Florida Man 3 is written. I think it's the funniest one yet.
Lots of good stuff.
And of course, this is my current project.
Yeah, you're very yeah. So here we have, ladies and gentlemen, Sherlock Holmes Leviathan. I'll scroll and you just let me know if you want me to scroll up or scroll down, or do you want me to play the trailer here first?
Yeah, play the trailer.
Okay, here we go, folks.
When a series of shipping disasters points to a mysterious sea monster, Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson leave the comfort of Baker Street and board a freighter where they encounter unexpected betrayal and come face to face with the enigmatic Captain Nemo and his submarine, the Nautilus. As they delve deeper into the case, they uncover a conspiracy involving a Russian Tsar with an airship that rains destruction on unsuspecting cities. With time running out and the world on the brink of war, the heroes must use all their skills and resources to stop a massive conspiracy and prevent global conflict. From Eisner-winning writer Mike Barron and illustrator Richard Bonk, dive into the depths of adventure and unravel the mysteries of the sea with the world's greatest detective in Leviathan. Order now
Today.
on Fund My Comic.
Very nice indeed.
Nice, guys. You can get it on Fun.
Oh yeah, you can get it today, folks. We're at $8,599 at the moment.
Well,
Sorry,
that's just Fun My Comic. You can also get it off Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Kickstarter chose it as a project we love, which surprised me a great deal because they had kicked Private American off the platform.
Huh. Do you think they're trying to get back into your good graces?
Maybe. I think they've had a big rethinking of their attitude there. They kicked me off for purely spurious reasons because a purple-haired bitch wrote an ugly article about me. And it was headlined, Punisher creator Mike Barron releases another racist AF comic book. She had not read the book. She has never read anything I've written. She just had a stick up her ass and she wanted to practice her cancel pig credentials a little bit. I think that the paper that ran that article, Daily Coast, they never rethought anything in their lives. They're a far, far left hate site funded by Soros. But Kickstarter, I think, had a come to Jesus moment because there's been a lot of talk lately about cancel culture and how lethal it is to the free expression of ideas. And they may have looked within their own ranks and found a couple of cancel pigs there and hopefully let them go. In any case, we're very encouraged, and I'm very happy and grateful to Kickstarter for choosing us.
So this project is super cool. It's a combination. Obviously, Sherlock Holmes is the main character here, but then we have the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea references. Did you do a book about 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea before?
No, I never have. This is the first team up of these two characters too. It just popped into my head. It seemed logical. And then the whole story fell into my lap through my knowledge of Victorian literature. I have read 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and I've read a lot of Sherlock Holmes. And when I put the two together, the whole thing just appeared in my mind. It's 72 pages long. There's not a wasted word or a wasted panel. It's all entertainment. You're going to love it. You're going to read it over and over again. There are a couple of surprise appearances I can't mention, but they're very exciting. And when you see them, you're going to go, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
You know,
Richard Bonk's backgrounds are bonkers too. Look at this stuff.
Rich had been waiting his whole life to draw steampunk. He just didn't know it. But when I gave him the script, he exploded. You see a little bit of it in those full-page spreads they show in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot more, especially in scenes of the Nautilus. And when we get to the madman that they're fighting, who will come as no surprise to aficionados of Jules Verne, but will probably come as a surprise to most readers who pick up this book, many of whom have not covered the classic science fiction books, which I devoured as a kid. I went through the whole thing. I mean, it wasn't just Jules Verne and Clifford Simic and H.G. Wells, but Philip Jose Farmer, Isaac Asimov, Arthur C. Clarke, Robert Heinlein, Andre Norton. It seemed to me I couldn't get enough sci-fi when I was a kid. Now that I'm older, my taste runs more toward crime fiction, modern noir, and history books. I read a lot of history books.
Which Sherlock Holmes story would you say is your favorite?
Probably A Scandal in Bohemia.
Nice. And what about film and TV? Which production did you like the most, or would you say is the best interpretation?
Okay, well, I've been watching, and I've seen a dozen different Holmes. My favorite is Jeremy Brett from the 80s BBC series. I think he nailed it the best. I think he's the best Holmes because of his intensity and his interpretation of the character, which is both traditional and incorporates our modern retro view, which is modern people agree that Holmes probably suffered from Asperger's syndrome, which affects people socially. It makes them reluctant to engage in normal social interactions, but it compensates them with skills in other fields. And of course, Holmes' skills are in observation and deduction. He may not love or care easily, but he has learned to do those things partly by observation, but also partly by his long association with Watson, where he really comes to appreciate the guy and other characters in his life. So he's not faking when he shows that his concern for not just Watson, but his clients. He cares about his clients. The only time he comes alive is when he's working on a case. If he's not working on a case, he's wasting his time shooting up cocaine or trying to play the violin. And Watson knows that. So, Watson, and that's how it starts, is Holmes is shooting up the cocaine and playing the violin, and Watson is upset. But then this guy comes to the door and says, Mr. Holmes, I'd like to hire you to find out what happened to my 2 freighters from Argentina, which disappeared without a trace.
And that's this.
I've never seen the
yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Carbon.
I've never seen the Jeremy Brett's production. I'm looking it up now. Definitely, I'm going to check it out for sure.
And right behind him, I put Benedict Cumberbatch and then Basil Rathbone.
I did like the Benedict Cumberbatch show a lot, actually. I thought that was really good.
Yeah. I heard they're doing a new series.
Oh, that'd be great.
They should. He's an excellent actor, and he kind of does that autistic thing that you're talking about really well.
But nobody does it like Brett. It's funny because if you've seen My Fair Lady, Jeremy Brett is the young man who dances down the street singing, I have often walked down this street before, but the pavement always stayed beneath my feet before. And that did kind of a mind pretzel on me when I found that out, and that he was my favorite Sherlock Holmes. But that's what, he's an actor, so he would take any job that came his way. And that was years before he became Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. Very cool. Folks, check this out. Take a look at this right now. Who have I got in my chat here? We got Chuck Reardon, Adam Weber, Katie Did, Transylvanian Jack, Catalyst Vault. You guys got to go look at this right now. The link, Frederick just posted the link right here.
Thank you, Frederick.
My pleasure, Mike. I gotta say, I really love the fact that you're incorporating airships in there, because I have a new fascination with airships.
Oh, you're going to love this.
I've been discovering how awesome they were. They didn't even need airports. You could have a tower in your piece of land, and your airships used to be able to dock right on top of skyscrapers. Skyscrapers in New York could dock airships at the very top. You'd have statues built on the top of the skyscrapers for the people walking in from the airships.
Have you read Jules Verne?
Just when I was a kid, so it's been a long time. I did read a comic of Journey to the Center of the Earth, and I just absolutely love that story.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's a haunting story. That story kind of bothered me when I was a kid because, well, I thought it was all real, and now that I get older, I think it might be closer to reality than I thought it wasn't.
Well, it's possible. There are volcanoes on Iceland that go deep into the earth, and there was a movie called The Core about a machine that they build that can burrow its way to the center of the earth, and they have to do it to save the world from an explosion. I think it stars Aaron Eckhart and a couple other notable actors. I've always enjoyed that movie. It's worth checking out. It's science fiction. It's very good science fiction.
Yeah, that's always the best stuff.
Yeah, all those sci-fi writers that you mentioned, I'm also a fan of. I used to read sci-fi all the time. Philip K. Dick was probably my favorite amongst them as well.
I like Philip K. Dick in film production more than I like him on the printed page. And he was doing a lot of drugs all the time, and I think that shows in his choice of material.
Yeah.
But what these other writers have, not all of them, but certainly Heinlein, had a seductive narrative voice, which is one of the ways you hook a reader. There are a million ways. And the most important, and the first way, is to create a fascinating character. And that Sherlock Holmes was the most widely recognized fictional character in history.
Mm-hmm.
The second method is to create a fascinating scenario, Jurassic Park. And the third method is to create a seductive narrative voice.
So you're going to combine all three of those into this book, right?
I wish. I hope so. That's my goal. My goal is to entertain. I never lose sight of that fact. And I've been writing so long, and I can tell when my writing is getting better. I'm very gratified by that. When I was younger, in the 80s and 90s, I wrote some books that I wish I could claw back and nobody had ever seen. I've never had complaints about them, but I wasn't satisfied with them. But for the last 15 years, I don't think I've let anything out of the house that was less than a home run. It's because I understand story now. It took me a long time to learn how to write a novel. That's because I'm a slow learner, but when I get it, I get it.
I've been watching a few of your videos you've been giving tips on YouTube along with your dog as well in the videos. And to be honest, like one of your seeing how you're writing actually in drawings kind of fascinated me, because I was writing in script form and I had a big writer's block on my third draft, and I just switched from script form to images, and that unlocked everything for my final draft. And I really appreciate those videos from you.
That's great. Yeah, it does. It puts you in a different frame of mind. And for anybody who wants to do a comic, whether they can draw or not, I would recommend trying that. And you draw each page out by hand in a big tablet. You draw a big rectangle, then you draw the first panel, and you think, what am I putting in this panel? What's going to be compelling? What's going to grab the reader? And then you put it in with all the words and captions and any directions you might need. And then you think about the second panel. Well, what do I put in the second panel? You don't think of the whole story at once. You can think about it. You can have it in the back of your head. But when you get down to details and panel by panel, it teaches you so much. And one of the things it teaches that's so important is what happens next, because that's the essential question in all fiction. If the reader doesn't care, he's not going to turn the page. So how do you make the reader care? Well, you think about that story. And I mentioned the three foremost methods, which is 1, unforgettable character, 2, fascinating situation, and 3, seductive narrative voice. It's harder to do seductive narrative voice in a visual medium than in pure prose, but it can be done. So I would proceed like an inchworm from panel to panel, but always in the back of my head, I had dramatic structure. I knew how the story had to go by the beats, by the rhythm, because a comic is like a good song or an orchestral piece. It's got a tonic, it's got a bridge, and it's got a hook. And the bridge plays something that's jarring, that's at odds with the tonic. And that's what happens in a story when the hero encounters a difficulty. The hero's up, the hero's down. Because if it weren't for those dynamics, we wouldn't keep reading because we care about the hero. And if we don't care about the hero, then we're not going to read the book. But given that we do care about the hero, we want to see him succeed. And of course, when he suffers a setback, whether it's losing his business or being thrust into a mine with a mad cobra, you want to see him triumph through his own efforts, through ingenuity, sometimes a little bit of luck. But if you're going to use luck, you have to foreshadow it. Otherwise, you're doing what they call a du ech machina, which means that God reaches down with his hand and saves his ass without any previous notice. So who guessed that God would reach down and save his ass? You don't want to do that. So you have to plant the seeds of what's going to happen later early in the book. When I'm writing, I'll often find myself adding a character because the scene requires this character to come in and say, sir, we've detected the enemy, or whatever. And then when I get towards the end of the book, I often find that character is the key to everything. For me, the ultimate ending should come as both a complete surprise and, in retrospect, inevitable.
So would you say you start with your ending first and work your way backwards?
No. I know that the hero's going to triumph, but I don't always know why. And this brings me to another theory I have, which is the writer must surprise himself before he can surprise the reader. You've got to be excited about what you write. You've got to think of something and say, holy shit, that's it. And I do that all the time. I mean, I'll get up in the middle of the night and start taking notes because I'll think of something in the middle of the night that I know is crucial to the resolution of the story I'm working on, which is why everybody should carry a pen and a pad with them at all times.
Yeah, I know that feeling that you're talking about where something just hits you. And then I know the surprise, and it doesn't happen often, but it's like refreshing. It's like, wow, this idea just came to me. And I do need to write it down so I don't forget it. With music, that happens a lot too.
The more you do it, the more often it comes. There's something called Chekhov's rule. And Chekhov says if you show a gun in the first act, you have to use it by the third act. And that's what we're doing. We're not, when I say we show the gun, it could be that mysterious person who suddenly comes through the door and says, sir, the rebels are advancing or whatever. And later on, you need somebody to advance the plot. And you can use that person. When I'm writing, I move backwards and forwards, bringing everything into consistency so there are no inconsistencies. And if that means I have to retrofit a character with certain skills or personality traits, I do. I go back and I change that character so that he's more perfectly suited for the end that I have in mind.
Do you ever get disappointed that you've had to change a character that you really liked the way he was?
No. And, and every experienced writer will tell you the same, that if you create a fully rounded character at some point, he's going to turn around and tell you what he's going to do next.
Who's been your favorite character to write?
Oh, it's a toss-up between Badger, Josh Pratt, and Nexus.
Wow. Nice.
Josh Pratt is the protagonist of my biker series. I'm working on the 11th novel right now. They're modern crime, they're modern noir, in the spirit of Philip Marlowe or John D. MacDonald. Josh Pratt's a reformed motorcycle hoodlum who went to prison. He found God, he got out and tries to turn his life around. About a third of the stories concern other biker gangs and biker events. The first one has a lot of action, takes place at Sturgis. But the other 2/3 are simply people who are at the end of their rope, who have been wronged, they've been mistreated, they've been threatened, and they have nowhere else to go. So they turn to Josh Pratt because they hear of him through word of mouth, and he's in the news every now and then because he's always getting into trouble, and he's killed a few people. He would prefer not to, but he does. And one thing I like about him is he's very self-contained and modest. He's not one of these characters that's spouting off sarcasm in every panel, like Robert Parker Spencer. I don't know if you've ever read Spencer, but in the books, Spencer is constantly cracking wise. And there are a lot of characters like that. Sam Spade cracks wise too. And so does Raymond Philip Marlowe. But Josh does not crack wise. When he speaks, he just says what he has to say. And sometimes when he has a lot on his mind, he'll say more than he's used to. And then he turns to the person he's talking to and says, "You look what you made me do. That's more than I've ever said in my life."
So, how did you? This is a question I wanted to ask you. Actually, well, there's a couple. I got a lot of questions I want to ask you. But in regards to the stories in general, do you prefer writing prose or comic books?
I love them both. Comics are certainly easier, but not that easy. And now I'm writing more prose than I ever have in my life. I hooked up with a guy named Blaine Pardo. He's a New York Times bestselling author. And he said, "Mike, I think we should write together." I said, "Okay." And he worked up this outline for a book we call Tenure. It's about a Portland history professor at a university who refuses to use a student's preferred pronoun and how it destroys his life. First of all, they fire him. Mm-hmm. Then Antifa targets him. They run his wife off the road and she dies in a flaming wreck. They sick the police on him in a bogus SWAT squad. They invade his house in the middle of the night and they kill his daughter as she's reaching for her phone. And when it's found out that the SWAT squad was bogus, they sue. And Braxton makes a lot of money, but he has nothing to live for until he thinks about it. And when he thinks about it, he says, "These people have to pay." So he begins his mission of vengeance. It is a vigilante story, and it's up for sale on Amazon right now. It's called Tenure by Pardo and Barron. If you just type in Tenure, it'll take you there and take a look. It's already getting rave reviews. We're very excited about it. It's going to be released in January, and we're 2/3 of the way through the second book. Braxton Knox makes it his life's mission to cancel the cancel pigs. And both Blaine and I have been victims of cancel pigs.
Here, I'm bringing it up right now. Here we go. There it is.
Up this Blaine Pardo, and I see a quote from him. That's what you get for calling us garbage.
Braxton Knox, is that the first character that you mentioned out of the three? Your three
No,
favorites?
Braxton is Blaine's invention. Blaine dreamed up this outline, and then he named the main character Braxton Knox. I mentioned Badger, Nexus, and Josh Pratt. Josh Pratt is the protagonist of the biker novels, and I said there are 10 biker novels out. The last one co-starred Chuck Dixon's Levon Cade, and I'm working on the 11th right now.
Very nice. How long would you say it takes you to write a novel like that?
That's a funny thing. It used to take me a long time, but I recently wrote a novel. It was 91,000 words, and it just poured out of me. And I think I did the whole thing in a month because I was on fire when I was writing it. I hope to announce it next year early on. It's like nothing I've ever written. It's not part of a series, although it does lend itself to a sequel. And I don't want to tell you what it's about, but it's a thermonuclear bomb, and it could not be more timely.
Huh.
Yeah, you're shelling out a lot of books here because I'm looking at Biker, which I'm gonna check this out, Biker. I'm curious about it. And you already have 10 books of this.
Yeah, I
Since
know. It's
2019.
surprising. But while I wrote this 10 books for Wolfpack, my friend Pete wrote 40.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, because there are people out there that do nothing but write every day, and Pete is one of them. He gets up, he writes 3,000 words before noon every day of the week, all year long, except when he's on traveling or something when he's not home. And he could probably write when he's not home too, because he takes a laptop with him and he writes on the laptop. And son, I just can't write on a laptop. The little tiny keys. You have to be very precise, and you don't get that that satisfaction you do when you press down on a key on a bigger keyboard. And I have to use a split keyboard. I don't like a little tiny keyboard. So this is my split keyboard here.
Here, let me look at that. That's a crazy looking keyboard there.
Anybody can get them. But the thing is that it's split, so my hands aren't so cramped. And I always felt when I was writing on the old style keyboard or a laptop, I just felt like somebody handed me a midget's typewriter or a keyboard for me to use, and I didn't like that. So I got to have a big one. And when I'm not writing on a keyboard, I write by hand. I do that a lot, especially when I'm on the road and I'm at a convention and I'm working on a novel and there's nothing going on. I say, well, I might as well write. So I write, and I write a lot when I'm on the road.
Yeah, those keyboards are pretty cool. I've even seen somebody have the split keyboard actually physically split, and you can have them like each one on.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen those too. You go like this.
I don't know how you guys do that.
If you're writing all the time, yeah, you're gonna need something ergonomic. Otherwise, your wrists are gonna get all cramped.
I wish I were writing all the time. If I were, I'd be a lot richer. But I just seems. I always say it just seems like I sit around with my thumb up my ass. But somehow all this stuff gets written, and of course it's not true that I wait. I do waste a lot of time, but when I write fast because I see the story. I know what happens next. Even if I don't know specifically what happens next, I know the kind of thing that happens next. And so I'll think about it. And the more I think about it, the more it comes. And one of the tricks to writer's block is professional writers don't get writer's block. And one reason is that I'm working on 5 projects at once. So if I run into a roadblock with one, I'll just switch to another.
And that doesn't bother you switching gears like that? Huh. Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring this up one more time here. Sorry, my computer's going a little slow today. Sherlock Holmes Leviathan, ladies and gentlemen. There's a bunch of different options here that we've got. We've got the hardcover edition, which is autographed as well. Will that be autographed on the front or in one of the inside pages?
Inside.
Okay. Excellent. That looks really nice, by the way. We've got the digital edition, which I mean, you want the real deal though. You should get the hardcover. And
well,
if you
digital
don't,
is good for people in other countries for
That's
obvious
true.
reasons.
do you even ship to other countries, or have you just kind of?
We do.
And then we also have cover A and cover B here. And fantastic stuff. And then over here we have the CGC autographed edition, $100, 9.8. Get it now while you can. And then obviously we get the 2-pack. That's awesome. Very cool. And then look at all this stuff. Original art down here.
Yeah, you can have yourself drawn into the book.
Really? Oh, look at that. That's awesome.
I think that's me there already. I think.
Right. That guy. Does this character who you get drawn in as, do they die brutally, or are they like safe?
No. We don't do that unless there's a special request.
Well, now that you mention it, amazing stuff. Very
I was
cool.
going to say Private American was pretty violent. This Sherlock Holmes book Is it just as violent or no violence? What would you say?
Well, no, I mean there's action and there is violence, but it's much more genteel because it's a Victorian novel. I mean, I shouldn't say that because there are scenes of horrific death when the madman starts bombing St. Petersburg Square and people are getting blown up. But it's not done graphically up close and personal with blood and bones flying like you see in a lot of books.
Mm-hmm. That sucks. St. Peter. What has he got against St. Petersburg? Oh.
That's where the story takes place. It seems natural, and the Tsar Nicholas was fighting off the Bolshevik purge at the time. They were just getting started when this takes place, which is about 1888 or so, and they were going to take over the country eventually. But Nicholas was perceived as a weak monarch, and he was always scheming how he could stay in control. His wife contacted Rasputin and brought him into the palace to help their son who suffered from anemia. And then Rasputin tried to take over the palace. And then a whole bunch of noblemen said, Rasputin's got to go. So they poisoned him. They shot him. They beat him. They had an elephant step on him. They put him in a car wreck. And finally, they had to drag him out into the middle of the frozen Moscow River, chop a hole, and plunge him in. And that's how they finally killed him.
Ostensibly. Did they ever find the body after that?
That's a good question.
There's your next story, Mike. Rasputin returns.
Well, actually, Rasputin appeared in a Badger series I did about 7 or 8 years ago called The Five Wizards.
Nice.
He was one of the 5 wizards.
That's like the...
Is there a new issue of the Badger coming out? Like,
yes, it is. It'll be in comic shops in January.
And you have the Private American is going to be in comic shops.
Well, that's right. Private American's going to be in comic shops next month from Antarctic. We're very excited about that. They split it into 2 books. And if you haven't seen it, now's your chance.
Yeah, I don't know if I can share. I'll put the link to this in a private chat for you, Patrick, because I don't know if my computer's already starting this weird. I restarted it and I don't have like anything else. Oh no, that's my thing. Not that. Hold on.
You're trying to do your own project.
Yeah, just go ahead and just bring that up. That's good. That's good.
Mike Barron's Private American, and this is my comic.
Mike, when do you expect Private American 2 to be out?
You mean the second issue of the first issue of the first graphic novel, or the brand new one?
The next graphic novel, the continuation.
I got to tell you guys, that's on hiatus. As I said, everything has changed with this recent election. The first one was presumptive of things going the way they are, with a government that doesn't represent anyone but themselves. And that's what the story's about, but that's not the case anymore. So we're putting that on the back burner for now.
Oh, well, the border is not going to be solved overnight.
No, it's not. But that's a different story. And I think that the tapeworms got the message that the vast majority of Americans hate them and don't want them in charge of anything. Now, they're going to hang on to power by any means possible because that's all they live for. But they've had a big dose of reality recently, and they understand that they cannot continue with their contempt for the average American as they have, and their insane spending, which is going to plunge this country into wild inflation and put a debt burden on our children and grandchildren for decades to come.
Yeah.
It would be good to incorporate maybe in a later story, involve the Venezuelan gangs that have been taking over the apartment complex. That can make for a good issue, right?
Funny you should mention that.
Did you hear, Mike Barron, what happened down here in El Salvador? Like the President Bukele, El Dictator, they call him, got rid of all the frickin' gangs, put them all in prison.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Including their families. And there is no more crime. It went from the most violent country in Central America, And now you can walk down the street at night and it's so peaceful. We still have barbed wire around every house. They have broken glass in the cement on the walls, but that's from the past. Everything's now incredibly peaceful and safe all of a sudden.
For him, there's a revolution going on all over the world. Look what happened in Italy. Look what happened in Argentina. And it's going to happen in Germany soon. And it's going to happen in Holland. Because ordinary people who've been ground under the heel of this massive cancerous administrative state have had enough. The farmers are going to stop producing. The truckers are going to stop driving. And they're going to vote out these parasites and put in people who are more representative of the people that live there.
Hell yeah.
At least it's my hope. But I mean, we see it happening. And by the way, there's a journalist on Substack named Elizabeth Nixon who chronicles this sort of thing. And she's the bravest journalist on earth right now. What she writes is just mind-blowing. She's Canadian. That's Nickson, Elizabeth Nixon. On Substack. I have a Substack column too, Mike Barron Substack. I write about writing there a lot.
I'm going to have to check that out. Free advice is always amazing.
Can I ask another writing question?
Sure.
Because the three elements you mentioned, I paid attention to. And the third one, with the finding a seductive voice to write in, seems crucial, obviously, because it's the voice that's going to lead you through the story and pull you in. Who would you say is a big influence on that factor for you in terms of that seductive voice?
John D. MacDonald, Karl Barks, and Philip Jose Farmer.
Karl Marx?
Barks. The opposite of Karl Marx. But those are three of my formative influences. But to mention the narrative voice, at one extreme, you have the invisible narrative voice, which describes the scene so easily and artlessly that you're not even conscious of it. And that's good because you never brought up short by an odd word or an infelicitative phrase. And the master of that is Michael Connelly, who writes the Bosch novels and the Lincoln Lawyer novels. And by Lincoln Lawyer is now a series on Netflix. It's very good. Bosch is a series on Freevee. It's very good. You're never aware of his narrative voice. You're just living the story as he relates it. At the other extreme, you have writers that are so mannered that you read because you want to see what they're going to do with words next. One of them is Michael Chabon, who wrote The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. You read Michael Chabon, you're going to have to keep a dictionary at your elbow. He's very elegant, and he does run on. There's a chapter in his book, Telegraph Avenue, about a record store in Berkeley. It's about a pigeon that escapes from its roost and flies around the city. The chapter is 5,000 words long, and it's all one sentence, and it never flags. You just read along, You're not conscious of the fact that there's no periods. You just want to know what happens next because his use of language is so elegant. And then there's James Elroy, who wrote L.A. Confidential. Elroy learned to write from the lurid crime tabloids of the 60s, and he relies a lot on alliteration. Like fat fuck furiously fulminates. That's my own. It's not what Elroy would. But he also writes like a machine gun, in short, abrupt sentences. I walked into the room. The dog bit my ankle. I pulled out my revolver and shot the dog in the head. I turned around. There was the woman sprawled on the floor. Like that. And those are all short declarative sentences. And that's how he writes. He's terrific. I love him. I think he wrote himself into a corner for the last 10 years. The plots are so Byzantine, I can't follow them. But prior to that, some of his novels are masterpieces, and I would include L.A. Confidential and The Big Nowhere.
Yeah, that sounds very detective style, the short sentences, like a film noir.
Very much so. He also wrote a book called The Black Dahlia. That was turned into a movie too. Having read a lot about The Black Dahlia, I thought that his solution or his theory and it may just have been for fictional purposes, was way off base. I think that there's a man who knows who the Black Dahlia killer was. He was a police detective for 30 years in Los Angeles, and he figured out that his father, who was a doctor, was the Black Dahlia murderer. And not only that, but that he killed a lot of other women too. And it's in a book called Black Dahlia Avenger.
Earlier, Carbon asked you who some of your favorite writers were, or I'm sorry, your favorite characters to write were. What are your least top 3 favorite or least favorite characters that you've ever had to write?
Well, some of them, they were my least favorite. The ones that gave me the most difficulty were it was a Barry Smith title that he created for Valiant, Archer and Armstrong, and nobody can follow Barry Smith because his aesthetic is unique, and I just felt that I was fumbling through those. That wouldn't happen today. I think I know what I could do with them, but I'm not happy. It's not that I was unhappy with the characters. I was unhappy with my writing. And there are a couple more like that, but that serves for all of them. You know, I also wrote Ninjak and Shadow Man for them, and I was very happy with those. And also Turok Dinosaur Hunter with Rags Morales, who's one of my favorite artists, and we may be working on a project together soon.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Fantastic. Well, let's see if we move the needle at all on Leviathan.
Ball means.
Hopefully my chat here has taken a look at it and decided which ones they want to get. Oh, see, I had to fund my comic open, but you've got this one over on here, so I might as well share it here on your own website. I'm sorry, I didn't even know you had it on your website. I would have shared that instead of the Fund My Comic.
Oh no, that just takes you to Fund My Comic, Indiegogo, or Kickstarter. We don't have a fundraising platform.
Oh, it's just got the ticker there. I see.
Right.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm stupid sometimes. Hold on. Here we are. Okay. No, let's see if we refresh it here. Nothing so far. Well,
hopefully by the morning.
Yeah. Chat, you're embarrassing us here. Come on.
I'm going to be honest. I haven't been able to figure out the Fund My Comic thing, so I'm now up to like 3 projects that I have to back. Like now, I've got to get the Leviathan. It's Richard Bonk illustrating it, right?
Yes.
Because I just ordered the Private American. I somehow don't know Richard Bonk's art.
Oh, he did Private American. I mean,
Right.
You'll see him in there, and he did a bang up job. But Sherlock Holmes is when he exploded. I'm telling you, folks, if you love a good story, this is it. You're not going to regret it. Anybody who's read my stuff knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm like huge into like Victorian, like all the Victorian different stories, obviously, like Jack the Ripper and like all the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, like that. There's parts of it that I liked and parts of it that I didn't. Like sometimes it seemed to get kind of goofy, and sort of. So I like the idea of having the parts that are, for one, like, who was anyone really like, I want to see a story about Mr. Hyde and Dr. Jekyll?
Yeah.
Or was it like, I want to see more of Captain Nemo and the Nautilus? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I actually like Jekyll and Hyde though. But I'm weird. I think I'm a one-off. So
you know that Sherlock Holmes takes on Jack the Ripper in the movie A Study in Terror, starring John Neville, who's a very good Holmes.
A Study in Terror. I haven't seen that one. I haven't heard of that one. All right.
Yeah, the whole Victorian look incorporated with steampunk and then throwing in some supernatural elements. That's an awesome setting. There was actually a show that I do want to recommend to anyone who hasn't seen it. It was on HBO a few years ago called The Nevers.
Never heard of it.
And it had that kind of Victorian era mixed with technology and steampunk. and some magical elements, and it was mysterious. It was actually pretty good. I recommend it.
Thanks, Cammy. That was probably the 9th configuration.
9th configuration.
This is a great movie by William Peter Blatty. Well, folks, I got to retire.
But you got all these books you got to finish. What do you mean? I'm joking. I'm sorry.
For the night.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I know everybody here appreciates it. It's I wish we had more time because there's more questions. I want to talk to you about karate and stuff.
And you can always talk to me privately. I'm happy to talk to you.
Yeah, let's do that.
I was gonna say too, like you're more like an early riser.
Oh, I am. I am.
Well, you stayed longer than I expected, so thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. Have a great night, man.
Nice to meet you, Mike.
Yes. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, Sherlock Holmes Leviathan. It's funding right now on Fund My Comic. He also mentioned a Kickstarter, which you should not go do it on Kickstarter. You should do it here on Fund My Comic. And then Indiegogo as well. And right now we're at $8,599. We want to get that higher.
Refresh. I just ordered my copy.
Oh, let's do it. Let's see what happens. Hey, look at that. Oh, we should have refreshed before he left.
Because it was at 156.
Yeah. Oh,
So
that's awesome.
Somebody else ordered one as well.
Which one? What did you get there?
I got the hardcover signed. Like, it's too good. Like, it looks absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Those covers are nice, but that's just a sexy cover for the hardcover. Very nice indeed.
I mean, he got me at airships and Sherlock Holmes. It's like, I'm sold.
Amazing stuff. And then obviously, folks, I'll repost the link to Tenure in the chat here. That's one of his novels there. Bink. Carbon, do you have Yeah, can you post that in the chat, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna pick up a copy of Biker. This looks intriguing to me.
Well, leading the biker gang there, that might.
Oh, it all fits together.
Exactly. No, this is it's inspiring.
Carbon's gonna open it up and he's gonna be like, "This is about me. I am this character." Oh wow!
And dude, the Brett Sherlock Holmes, his whole ordeal with cocaine, it makes the character so much realer. It's like when he's not solving problems, his mind is just going haywire. Anyone who knows, like real smart people, problem solvers, knows that they gotta keep busy, or else their brain is just gonna go inward in a chaotic spiral. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that he was. Too. Yeah, I thought it was opium though that he was addicted to. I didn't want to correct.
It's cocaine, and he's actually injecting cocaine. If you watch the Brett series, you see a few of those episodes where he's actually injecting cocaine.
Oh, so he's injecting it. Yeah, that's why I thought it was something harder. But yeah, no, it's hard enough.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys had some knowledge about Sherlock Holmes and more classic literature like that, because all I know about is the Wishbone episode of Hound of the Baskervilles. So,
yeah, Sherlock is actually one of the first modern science fiction franchises. Because if you think about how old it is, and even Hound of the Baskervilles has like some sci-fi elements. We also got a good list of recommendations out of Mike Barron.
And a lot of good writing tips as well. Like, I learned a couple of things as well. Like that the voice, the story. What was that third one?
Well, he said character is number 1. 2 is the scenario.
And the voice, third, yeah.
And the third is the seductive voice. And actually, I think that's a very concise way of putting the most important things. I agree. I'm going to remember that for sure. What happened to Patrick? Is he? Did he step away?
Wait, looks like like he's muted and stuff too.
Yeah.
Had a sudden coughing fit or something, perhaps.
Well, in any case, yeah, I thought that was good.
Yeah,
Right, we got some good info out of Mike.
Like he's got this. He's got Badger coming out in comic shops. Private American coming out in comic shops. I think he's got a new Nexus coming out in shops too. And he's just like half a dozen books or whatever. Like he's just
He made it sound like he doesn't write that much, but I'm looking at all his novels. And I'm like, there's like 20 novels in the last few years.
Yeah. He's writing more books than I can keep up with. It's insane.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Nexus, I definitely want to pick up. That looks pretty cool. I like the art style.
He's supposed to. I'd never heard like the exact description before until like yesterday. I was watching him on something. Nexus is supposed to be he's like the executioner, but he's a reluctant executioner. Like he doesn't want to execute people, criminals, but he does.
Yeah, it looks pretty badass. Actually, I like the setting. Like it's kind of space. It's in space, like outer space.
Yeah,
stuff going on there.
What you read Private American? You said.
Yeah, I liked it a lot actually.
Because I just ordered it. Like I've wanted to get it, and I finally kept, you know how things are. What I've gotten.
Well, you're lucky, Dr. Ben, because we paid, I don't know, Carmen, was it $25 for this?
I think so, yeah.
And now you're gonna get it for $5. Although it's probably not going to be as nice. Like this is like
I ordered it
really nice quality. Oh, okay.
I ordered that and the Bronze Star too.
I want that so badly. I did not back it when it happened, and I felt so stupid afterwards.
Yeah, you can just go in and shop, and like you can just use PayPal. Like I didn't even realize that. I kept like putting it off. I was like, I don't know how to pay for it, and then I figured out I could just use PayPal, and it just go. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's just I don't think it's like. I think he uses that that Critical Blast or something. Like there's one of those like fulfillment services.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking of using one of those because shipping from Canada is just like self-destruct mode, right? It's just too crazy. So I think I'm going to use Critical Blast or something. Get my stuff printed and shipped to them and have them ship it out.
Yeah, Frederick. I just bought from Paul Ravoche's eBay store. I got a couple of, like, he's got this whole concept design for all the Batman Beyond stuff that he did, like all the work that he did on that. And it's so beautiful. And I had to get it. But then he let me know, like, he's like, I got to wait till this shipping strike is over because it's $90 to ship it. I'm like, yeah, no, don't do that.
Yeah, that's absurd.
Is it an entire school? Like, what is $90? How big is like what? How much is it? Like, is it? That's insane.
Yeah. Shipping, I think, is the main problem right now we have in indie comics.
Frederick, by the way, are those American optical shades you have?
I don't know, man. These are just like cheap shades I got off of Amazon. I was like, okay, these look like almost like Aviator, not quite, but they're pretty cool. Let's try these. I try to change the shades like, once in a while.
They're like the shades I have.
Yeah.
Original Pilot. Even though I'm not a pilot.
Yeah, I mean, the Aviators are the best. I mean, I don't have a license, but my dad used to fly me out in a Cessna when I was a kid, and it was the best. Just flying over my house, like seeing it like tiny, like little toys. Yeah, I have a huge respect for pilots.
Okay, let's watch this trailer again, folks, before we move on to other subjects. I know there's certain things you guys want to talk about, so let's watch this trailer, folks. Sherlock Holmes Leviathan by Richard Bach and Mike.
when a series of shipping disasters points to a mysterious sea monster. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson leave the comfort of Baker Street and board a freighter where they encounter unexpected betrayal and come face to face with the enigmatic Captain Nemo and his submarine, the Nautilus. As they delve deeper into the case, they uncover a conspiracy involving a Russian Tsar with an airship that rains destruction on unsuspecting cities. With time running out and the world on the brink of war, the heroes must use all their skills and resources to stop a massive conspiracy and prevent global conflict. From Eisner-winning writer Mike Barron and illustrator Richard Bonk, dive into the depths of adventure and unravel the mysteries of the sea with the world's greatest detective in Leviathan. Order now on Fund My Comic.
Very cool stuff. Did you guys ever see 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea?
The movie?
That
a while back when I was a kid.
Yeah, the old one.
Yeah, that was like.
Well, it's on YouTube now. You can just watch it for free.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
that's a pretty cool trailer as well.
With the squid at the end. Oh yeah, dude, it's one of the best trailers out there. I forgot who he told us last night who did it, but I forgot who he said it was.
I mean, these indie comics trailers are getting like pretty good. Like the animation of each panel, like it's almost animation level. Like it's getting there, getting up there.
Well, there's more and more guys for hire that you can get to make these trailers. Like Patrick for Phenomenal Tales, you got that dude, and that's a great trailer too, you know?
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff's really great. A lot of people have good stuff trailers. Oh, wow, it's been quite a week, guys. Quite a week. I feel like we were just here, like yesterday almost, and the week just flew by, and here we are again. So, well, now that Mike's gone, let's talk about you guys. Dr. Ben, how's your week been?
Pretty good. I already went on the date my third date. I already did that, didn't I? I was still just floating about that. Like I saw her briefly again today, and
nice. You showed her your Horseman.
We did discuss the Horseman. Yes.
Ben did his unboxing of the Horseman today.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Right.
But yeah, show us some pages, Ben.
We got
of the
show us the page with the extra fingers there.
Show us the extra finger. That's what they all.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, Horseman has a superpower where he can grow extra fingers on his hand. It's crazy.
And the crooked boots. There's a splash page where his foot is like twisted.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that is okay. This is
it's
his
Joe
finger.
Bennett again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got. That's the thing. I was like, I pulled up. I got like a.
Yeah, what is going on there? What is? You think it's a coloring issue or an inking issue? It's hard to see with your background on.
Yeah, let me turn my thing off here real quick. Or like mix it to,
Thank you, Cammie, for sharing all those links. Thank you, Frederick and Cammie, for sharing these links.
Okay, so there's
it, guys.
You see it then?
Transylvanian Jack says inking issue. Yeah. So that's supposed to be his index finger on his left arm.
But look at like the fingers anyways. There is something with
there's
look
an
at
extra
the fingers on his right hand.
Yeah, you're right.
The top hand is connected to the bottom hand, so that's an inking mistake. But then also there's an extra finger on the top hand. It's hideous.
It's like an octopus hand or something. Like he's like doing like a puppet show, maybe.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
You guys are just haters, man. Anti-Ripper Alliance.
Yeah.
Honestly, the design of the costume, I'm just not into
that's
it.
right.
The costume just looks weird to me.
I like the design. Like imagine
overdone, you know.
Imagine those little nubby things, you know, on his hands. Imagine getting hit with those things. They're like little bolts.
That's the coolest part of the costume.
No, but honestly, those little nubs, they remind me of like a strange Japanese sex toy. Like those octopus tentacles that they sell. No, it's looking weird.
Someone is going to make a cosplay of this that you probably don't want to see. Like you're going to see it and you're going to be like, oh my God, why? They're gonna. But no, I like it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like reading, I haven't read it, but like looking through it, it looks. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it looks cool. Maybe his stuff is like kind of.
Well, Joe Bennett's art's good. Like it's good art.
Yeah.
I know people have complaints with it, but it's much better than like Cliff Richard's, you know, generated garbage. At least he actually draws, you know. By the way, Commandos, this is important that we're all here because it seems that Ethan has made a truce with the Rippaverse. Do you guys see that post?
No. What is it?
I will find it. But chat, confirm this for me, right? I'm way behind, right? Like I'm waiting for like 3 minutes for people to respond.
Well, that's what I was gonna say too. Is it?
Yeah, I saw the truce. He was on Finatra's stream this morning. Ethan came on and he was having a ridiculous discussion with TJ, and Dark Gift was there, and it was the same old bullshit. You know, TJ just yelling and complaining about Ethan. And then eventually, with Dark Gift talking about him navigating all the drama, Ethan finally said, you know, I want peace. From now on, I want peace with Eric July. So that's how it started this morning.
Huh. But you don't think it's real, or it is real? What do you think?
No, there's no way it's real.
Cammy says he was joking.
Yeah.
What? I got a different memo. I must.
Also, I didn't want to miss this. Wrangler says in regards to the hand, his mutant power is playing the piano. What's up? And also, hello, Wrangler and Billy Bobsack. I'm sorry I didn't say hello to you guys earlier. That's my well, I'm not sorry I didn't say hello to Billy Bobsack, but I am sorry I didn't say hello to Wrangler. So, I'm way behind. I'm gonna restart my computer again. I'll be back. You know what it is I'm downloading Stalker 2, so it's probably
he's downloading programs while he's.
I don't think he was that behind though.
No, he's just lagging a little bit. Yeah.
Scary. Yeah. Verse is what it is.
But anyway, we might as well continue the conversation. Yeah, no, that's just a troll.
Dr. Ben, did you have a time to read the Horseman?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I literally just got it today. Like I picked it up in the afternoon, and you know how sorted things. I got that, and I got both issues of the Ripazine too. I guess I put that thing back on, so now we just get to see more of the.
How much were the Ripazines?
$7 a piece.
Oh, okay.
They're not.
Yeah, it was the art book that was absurdly pricey. Remember that 10-page art book that he was selling for like $75?
Yeah, that.
It's a collector's edition.
Collector's
edition.
Yeah,
that's why. Special business edition.
How did you guys know how there's like the good comic companies, and there's kind of like the B team, and then the C team, and then the D team. You know what I mean? Like there's these other comic book companies that come out and make their like guys, and you're just kind of like, okay, like it's just all of it all of it really feels like that. But I don't know, like at this point, I don't think it matters because like you can't. Are you going to go to like the comic shop and pick up like Wolverine or X-Men and be like, oh hell yeah, this is what I want? You know what I mean? Like all the regular comics are all just kind of a dupe anyway. So you know, I was thinking about this earlier. Winning, like the culture war is not like you have to win, right? Because it's the left side has put out dominated culture and media, so that everything that's good, everything that's bad is all kind of like defined from like a leftist point of view of like this is the scale of like this is a good movie is Godfather, this is a good action movie, this is a bad one, this is, you know what I'm saying, like the whole scale is all from their point of view. So to have like anyone from like the right side try to like make their own like cultural stuff, it's inherently it's going to come off just being like Matt Walsh, you know what I mean? Like God bless him, he's fantastic, but you know he's got that like he's just the same problem with Glenn Beck and all that, you know what I mean? Despite whoever might ultimately fund that, you know what I mean? Like they just right wing media people have this just kind of like Magoo kind of like. And like, and not that I don't like them, I like a bunch of the guys. They could do good stuff and have like, you know, and they're saying good stuff or whatever. But like, to win in like an actual like media battle, you know what I mean? You have to be able to.
You know, some of the movies that the Daily Wire produced actually weren't that bad. The one with Gina Carano, Terror on the Prairie,
right,
was actually a decent movie.
I loved how it didn't have any music.
Yeah, and there was another one called something with like Fight, Run, like Run, Hide, Fight, I think was the title of it. About a school shooting where the teenage girl actually fought back to survive. And that looked decent. So I don't think it's that they're incapable of funding a good project. I think it's just that coming from a political news source, it kind of taints it and makes it a little cheesy. You know what I mean? Like if they were like silent investors of movies that were just kind of apolitical and neutral,
right?
I think that would be a smarter move.
Yeah. Well, then they also have people on there who have no business talking about art. Like I really do love Matt Walsh, and there's a lot of people who bitch about him. I think he's done those 2 documentaries he did more for society than a lot of other people have ever done in their lives, especially What is a Woman? What is a Woman is like, it seems, you know, very basic at first glance, but that's the thing. Like we literally for a time there lived in a society where it was swiftly going to become like the most basic reality of man and woman it's not anymore. It's just not. But he came out with that documentary and made everybody ask that question. It's such a simple question. And I think that was a tipping point for the fight against the transsexual agenda. I really do. But then he goes on, he talks about like, I thought this movie was garbage. It's like, brother, you don't know like good art from bad art. Like just stick to the politics and let the artists do their thing. Which kind of backs up what you guys were saying about how it's kind of cheesy coming from the Daily Wire.
Yeah,
well, actually, I give Matt Walsh credit for one thing. His take on anime, I agree with. He said it's satanic.
Let's go! Oh man, I'm so down for this. Like, I like some manga and some anime, but I'm so down to fight them. Like, let's go.
I mean, Akira was good, but it's been downhill ever since. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And there is a lot of degeneracy in that shit now. Like all this lolly stuff. I didn't even know what that was until I guess I disagree with somebody about Eric July, and they go, "Oh, you probably like lolly porn." And I was like, "What? I don't even know what that is." And I was like, "Sorry, brother, but I think you lost this argument because you know what that is, and I don't."
Why the fuck would somebody use that as a comeback?
I don't know.
How is that a good comeback?
And if you look at my Twitter, it's like all I have is like classic 60s, 70s superheroes, and then my own stuff. So it's like, I don't know, man. Wrangler says they come across like Alex P. Keaton. Mighty Magic. Hello, Mighty Magic. Welcome. He says the Daily Wire should stick to political commentary. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what they're good at. Why do something? Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If you're a political speaker, even if I agree with your politics, it doesn't necessarily make for good comic or good art. I mean, art is art. It's got to be beyond politics. You can have a little bit of politics in there, but it's got to be art first. You know, you got to be living the experiencing the art through the characters, through the story, through the voice.
Mm-hmm. Says, go ahead, Carbon.
Like Ben was saying, like in terms of the culture war, putting out media that's gonna counter it. I mean, your best bet, I think, is being apolitical, meaning that you're not putting politics into it, and you're putting out an exciting, captivating book, story, movie, whatever it is that succeeds. And it's not gay. Because like just pull all that shit to the side and make a good story.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like one of the authors I really enjoyed is called Robert Anton Wilson. His whole goal in his books was that you can't guess his politics. His characters would have politics, different politics, one side, this side, but his whole goal was like, I hope my readers can't guess what my actual politics are. If you can't guess it, I did a good job writing fiction. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nabana says there's a lot of degeneracy, unfortunately, talking about anime/manga, but that's common nowadays. That he's not wrong. Berserk goes hard though. I need to read that because the art for that looks spectacular. Kamikaze says the old stuff was really good. Legend of the Overfiend, Guyver, etc. Mighty Magic says anime is not satanic. It's just weird. I would say some of it's satanic, but then again, some of every art form is satanic. Like there's some satanic metal, and then there's sick metal.
Yeah. Well, Mighty Magic, wait until I make my YouTube documentary.
Let's go.
On the history of Japan and anime and manga and the evil forces that are underneath.
The cooperative view of the working with the yokai, they're common everyday demons. It's like they view them as like something to like interact with and placate and leave gifts for.
Huh. Wow, this is swiftly the plot thickens. Wow. I need to hear more about this. The yokai, I know that they've got their own demons, but I hadn't heard this kind of stuff. What do you
like all the Pokemon?
Well, also the Japanese, the history of their spiritual belief is that they view themselves as like a special entity, like above the rest of humanity. That's actually a part of a belief system that they have. So anyway, it's going to be fun to do some investigating and to report on it.
Yeah, that's a little funny. We dropped 2 nukes on them, and they're like, "We're still the best." It's like, well, I mean,
did we though?
Oh, dude, I love that conspiracy so much. People get so uncomfortable when you talk. They get even more uncomfortable about the nukes aren't real thing than they do about, space not being real.
Yeah, that's why I have no friends, Patrick.
You and me both, brother. Modern stuff, not so much. He's talking about the new anime and manga. 80s anime is the best. I stopped watching the new stuff. One Punch Man, Hunter x Hunter, One Piece, Yu Yu Hakusho. Now I sound like Katie did. And Death Note are great anime. Yeah, dude, Death Note's great. I loved One Punch Man. I thought it was going to be so lame. I was like, how are you? Come on, this is going to be stupid. How are you going to tell a whole season of stories about this guy who kills people with a single punch? But it's a lot of fun. One Piece I've not watched, but it looks cringy. I have to be real. It just looks cringy to me.
I mean, all those titles are decent, but at this point they're actually old. Like all of those are about 20 years old. Yu Yu Hakusho, which is probably the best one there, is from the 90s. And so is Berserk. Actually, Berserk's from the late 90s. So it's starting in the 2000s. Everything went downhill.
I mean, Berserk's still being created though by his assistants, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but it started in the mid 90s, late like 97, I believe.
Cammy says the Japanese, are better than 99.9% of other cultures. I don't really disagree with you.
Wait a minute, what's going on with Cammy all of a sudden?
I think Cammy's looking for a Japanese friend. That's what it seems like to me. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, in some respects, there are things about the culture that are very impressive. We all know that. You know, technologically speaking, they're advanced. Their cities are cutting edge. We know this. You know, they're impressive.
They make the best pens, the best art pens. We can't keep making good comics without Japanese pens. Japanese, we love you. We respect you. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, we love and respect the Japanese, but manga and anime, not so much. What you could do, Japan, is you could take all the pens that you create, the fantastic pens that you create, and instead of giving them to manga and anime artists in your own country, you could ship them over here, and you could just give them to us instead, and solve kill two birds with one stone. Or pen. Nabana says, I hear Attack on Titan is solid. Brother, yes, it is. Attack on Titan. Like, I've not read the manga, so I can't speak on that. But I've watched the show. And I will say that show is like one of the best shows ever to have existed ever. I'm going to die on that hill. I know a lot of people don't agree with me on that, but I love that show.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to have to check that out.
It's spectacular. It's very heavy. If you can get through the first 2 episodes, which are like, whew, you'll know what I mean when you watch them. If you can get through those first 2, keep pushing it, and it really pays itself off. There's a huge payoff at the end.
What is? I was gonna say, for one, got to give a shout out to Katie Did, because she's over on Ethan's channel right now.
Yeah, do you guys notice that?
Commandos.
How much I love you guys. It's amazing. She's over there.
What's going on with the Minotaur? After you haven't even said anything about. I had a big old spotlight on the.
Well, I didn't want to, take the spotlight off of Mike Barron. So I don't, when I bring people on my show, I don't want to be like, hey, welcome to my show. By the way, this is about me. You know what I mean?
You gotta. That's what I'm saying. You're doing good. It was fantastic. It was
good.
And especially they took it down. Whatever happened, So that's what I'm saying now.
Yeah, that sucks.
It really does suck, because I'll tell you what, those 30 minutes that they allowed me to talk about my book, I rewatched it right after I got off the stream, and then I was like, as I was rewatching it, it got taken down, which sucks. But there are some very interesting things about that stream that I noticed when thinking about it today, the next day. But we'll go to that in a second here. Katie Did's channel says, love you, Commandos. Going to try to promote Pencils Down, and hopefully yours too, Patrick. Thank you, Katie Did. Thank you. Katie Did's awesome. She's fantastic. That's why she's one of the Commandos. She's all about the promotion of Comicsgate. And that is like... Well, there was that slump, guys. There was a whole bunch of backstabbing and betrayals over this past year. A lot of drama. People versus other people. And then you got Katie Did coming in hot and promoting people, really pushing what I would consider to be, I don't want to say the word good vibes. That's so gay.
No, good vibes is not bad. Good vibes is good.
It's gay adjacent. I wasn't going to say it, but I'll tell you. Okay. Nabana says the manga started in 89 to 90, but the anime was in 97. Okay. He's talking about Berserk. First of the North Star, Tank Police, Golgo 13, Timeless Classics. Have you guys ever seen those?
Fist of the North Star, which is actually awesome.
My bad.
But then actually that's a great example, because Fist of the North Star was heavily influenced by the Road Warrior, Mad Max. It's pretty much a direct copy of it.
Well, I got to check that out.
Show the Japanese, they envy the 80s action movies from America. Japan was like super obsessed with. Like, half of the video games that were made in Japan were influenced directly by Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Die Hard, like testosterone. That's because we had the testosterone, and unfortunately, Japan doesn't.
I don't disagree with you there, Carbon. I gotta be honest with you. Like, and you love Metal Gear Solid as much as I do. You can see that Hideo Kojima is obsessed with the West.
The cover of the very first Metal Gear game, this is a fact, is a direct lift from a still shot from the Terminator, the first Terminator movie. Yeah, of Kyle Reese.
Hold on.
Yeah. And Snake Plissken is Solid Snake's real name. Yeah. That's the name of the character from Escape from New York, Kurt Russell.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. I never thought about that until you said it. Now I can't unsee it. Oh my God.
Yeah, man. Tons of stuff.
Style for Fist of the North Star also influenced a guy. Have you ever heard of Rob Liefeld before?
Name rings a bell.
It kind of influenced
Rob
his art style, the way I can't pronounce the guy who does Fist of the North Star. I can't pronounce his name because
I forgot his name. But actually, I like Fist of the North Star. There you go.
That's so blatant, dude.
And then Contra, you know Contra, right? That video game.
Uh-huh.
The cover of Contra is taken from Schwarzenegger in Predator and Stallone in Rambo. The two images of the two characters in that.
You gotta love the shameless swiping. Although they drew a picture, you gotta get, but still, they're like, no, we're just gonna do this exact thing. That's awesome. Escape from New York is such a good movie, man. Ugh.
Oh man, it's so good, so good. Like the lighting, and it shows how much you could do with just lighting. If you study that movie, a lot of the ambiance is just green spots and red spotlights, and it just feels so natural. And Kurt Russell, of course, is just an incredible superstar. One of my characters is totally based off Kurt Russell. He's such a presence on screen.
Yeah, his voice is fantastic too. Some people underestimate that. There's modern actors whose voice, their visuals are iconic, but their voices are just kind of there. A lot of those older guys, they had their very specific voice that made you know exactly who it was.
I watched The Thing the other day.
Me too. That's
Thing from Another World.
Yeah. Well,
dude, I love that freaking movie.
Oh man, that movie's so good. That scene
what
where
do you think about the end? Go ahead.
The scene where what's it called? The heart thingies. He's like clear, and then he
yeah.
Oh my
chompers in his belly.
Yeah.
What do you think about the theory about the ending, where the black dude, it's just him and Kurt Russell at the end, and people speculate that black dude was actually infected.
I think he was.
Yeah. It's a great scene.
Yeah, it is. And they're just too tired to do anything. They're just kind of oh man. Oh, we got the Lord Otter. He says, "Hail, friends. What's up, Lord Otter? How you doing, man? Welcome to the channel." People don't like her because she's not a hunchbacked goth. Who are we talking about? I'm sorry, Cammy. I should have read that earlier.
Maybe Katie did.
Wow.
No, she's saying that there are people who complain about Katie did. They don't like her.
Because she's not a hunchback goth, which is
exactly.
also a savage insult towards certain people.
Goths.
She might be referring to Ali Sanguis.
I think she is.
Yeah.
Yes, Cammy. Give in to your hatred.
Yeah, but anyway, you did well last night, man, on Pimp My Comic.
Well, that's another thing I was gonna bring up. There was all that drama with Ali, and Ethan pops on the channel, which was not something I knew was gonna happen. It just happened. And there was that one comment, and to me it meant nothing, because you guys, you're on stream with me all the time. We joke around, we have fun, we make fun of each other, we take it, we give it, that kind of thing. I said, Shane said, "Is this your first book?" And I said, "No, my first release got into people's hands in July." And Ethan was like, "That's a little late, don't you think? Because my first release got into my hands when I was 11." And I fucking started dying. It's
Ethan was funny
Oh
last
my
night.
God, dude. He was so, you guys have no idea because I was sitting there listening to everybody else's pitches, all these big names, right? And I'm just this kid and I'm like listening, like trying to, have a straight face. Like I don't want to laugh at other people. And he's in the chat posting all these fucking, well, you saw the chat, but all those pickup lines, dude. And I was trying so hard not to laugh during like RT Bear's pitch, for instance. I was like, I gotta take myself off camera. Oh my God. It was really funny. It was a great time, a great show, a lot of fun. $400. I have 30 back. Well, not even more. Hold on. I'm so scatterbrained, guys. It's been a long week. I'm very tired, but it's been a good week, a very good week. I now am at 1191 on this. Oh my God, 1209. Amazing.
Hell yeah.
33 backers. Wow.
Patrick, you're confirmed Illuminati now. 33 backers.
Yes. Oh, somebody's going to come in and like blow me away.
I was number one. Don't forget it.
I remember. And you paid a heaping ton in shipping.
Yeah, but it was in Canadian dollars. It's all worthless anyway.
Yeah, man. Patrick, you got some good compliments. Ethan even complimented the book.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that went really well.
I was really blown away by all of that, I don't even know, like I was driving to work today and I'm like, did that happen last night or like it was just very, very, very cool to be on there. They were all so very nice to me. They like Claudio's art a lot, which is, when you're coming out there with the big guns and you're not a big gun, and they compliment your art, it's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So
Dude, you got to reach out to Mandy and ask about the show coming back up because that's a ton of views that can still happen on that video if there's a way that they can put it back up. Maybe there's something that they need to cut out.
Somebody said that Shane showed some weird pictures. They didn't think it would get them pulled, but they said it was maybe that was the reason. I have no idea.
Probably.
But yeah. Well, you guys in my chat, you know, this is Phenomenal Tales #1 Minotaur. Set in a post-apocalypse alternate universe, Soviet Union. I love how Mike was like, I hate alternate universes. This is a story about the Red Army's greatest soldier, Minotaur, as he hunts down and attempts to capture the most dangerous rad monster that has ever lived. Twists and turns, sci-fi horror. I said it's going to be 24 pages. I think it's going to be 26 or 27. Got to be real with you guys. I've been looking over some of these pages, and I'm like, I needed to punch a little bit more on that page, which means I need to spread it out a little bit. So I think that's what I'm going to do.
I'm rooting for the rad monsters over the communists.
Well, Frederick, there's varying degrees of evil in the world. And it's, let me just put it like that. There's varying degrees of evil in the world. And sometimes you got to pick the lesser of two evils. Sometimes.
Rad monsters.
Flesh-eating beasts. Wrangler says, why didn't we get a video game based on Big Trouble in Little China? That would have been wicked awesome. Yeah,
we did, Wrangler. It's called Mortal Kombat with Raiden.
That's a great movie too.
Yeah,
dude, it's on my top 10 list of movies for sure. I love that movie. I keep going back to it. Again, Kurt Russell, huge inspiration.
Yep. And he's kind of funny in that movie too. It's a little bit of comedy in that movie. It's fun.
Oh yeah.
Adam Weber says McCready, Pliskin, and Burton, all awesome characters from Russell and Carpenter. Yeah, they are. And they all have manly, masculine, testosterone-filled names.
Yep.
We got Nabana. Proud of you, Patrick. Super cool to see you progress for real, for real. Thank you, sir. If he only said for real once, I wouldn't have believed him, but he said it twice, so now I believe him. She's gonna edit it, I think, says Cammy. That would be amazing. No, they're not rad monsters, Cammy. They're rad it's different. Actually, Rad Monster sounds like a pretty good punk band name.
I mean, any monster that kills communists is fucking rad in my book.
Okay, all right, Frederick, I'll hit you with this. Who would you who satanic pedophile cannibal overlords or communist overlords? And the communists aren't pedophiles. They might be cannibals, and they certainly are somewhat the same.
It's the same picture.
It's the same picture. Good one. Wrangler says, I want to wrestle the Rad Monster. Let me at him. Oh, brother, you don't want to do that. Cami says, John Carpenter was the popcorn flick master before Tarantino. Oh, yeah. You're muted, Frederick.
John Carpenter wrote the movies, directed the movies, and even made his own soundtracks. What an incredibly talented guy he was. He's like the indie maker of movies, and his works were absolutely phenomenal.
Yes, they were. Adam Weber, that's rad. Well, Dr. Ben, I kind of somewhat expected you to have read Horseman by today. I wanted to hear what you had to say about it.
I just got it.
I know, but what have you been doing all day?
I think Dr. Ben has been infected by the Ripetard mind virus.
Right?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. He's turning into a Ripetard.
Dr. Ben, how do you feel about when I say these three letters? How does it make you feel? EVS. It's a confirmed symptom, folks. Confirmed.
You gotta be careful wearing that hat.
Scammer is what he is. He's a liar, a dirty scammer. His books are late. And he's gay and fat.
Oh my!
Can we do this, Ben? Would you be willing to show us the last 2 pages of the book?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see the villain too. I want to see what he looks like. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, folks. While he's finding that, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh, I did want to say one thing, which is going to upset some people in the chat and on my panel. Lord Raptor Jesus is a pretty good entertainer. I have to be honest with you. He's kind of funny. His shtick, the way that he talks, I think it's actually super interesting, and I can see why people watch his channel. He may be full of shit.
Turn into a live stream?
Yeah, I did. And he was like this is my impersonation of Lord Raptor Jesus. I'm gonna take issue with Cammy's comment here. Not really, but this is what he would go. He would go. John Carpenter was in the popcorn flick master before Tarantino. Thank you, Kamikaze, for putting that in the chat there. I really appreciate that, and we love having you here.
Yeah, Tarantino's overrated in my book. Pulp Fiction was his peak Tarantino movie, and he didn't even write the thing himself. So I'm just gonna put that out there.
You ready?
Yeah. See you, Nabana. Thanks for coming out, dog. Bye.
So first of all, Lord Raptor Jesus is a piece of shit. Let's just get that out of the way.
Triggered.
Maybe you can get a couple of laughs. Are those the last 2 pages?
Yeah, let's take it. Oh, they got an advertisement for the Ira statue on the last page. Prime Real Estate.
That's a cool picture of that. Say he's a cool looking dude.
Is that Yaira or a Saska sister?
Mm-hmm.
That statue of the Saska sisters.
No, but flip back one, because that's not the last 2 story pages.
Oh,
these are advertisements.
Keep
going.
Services offered. Please hit us up. Shout out. It is what it is. Wait, more animation?
All right, no, one more.
Dr. Ben, you know what we're saying.
I haven't looked at all. I'm experiencing this with you all. It's like a
okay. Here we go. Bloodruth shows up.
Up next, Bloodruth.
That's an ad for Bloodruth. So the end is Horseman standing with his pistol and his bat.
Yeah.
The end.
Oh yeah, he's looking over the parking lot or the a highway or whatever that is. It's my highway. Life is a highway.
Why does it look bland to you? Just something
you
about the storyboarding and
all night long.
It just looks bland as hell.
Give us a couple more pages earlier there. I want to see some of these colors.
Just one more flip.
Just all
maybe the colors.
Okay.
Maybe it's the colors. Yeah.
Let me. I'll go to like a. This looks like a good little spread here. We got the bad guy. Maybe like the club or something. That looks so. But there is something kind of off with the colors. Like, look at the way that car looks. There's something. I don't know how to describe. Like,
to me, it just looks like more Isom. It kind of just looks like more Isom.
It's definitely like they have their house style for the art, and this is what it is, right? Like, this is you're gonna draw for the Rippaverse. You get like a package of like.
Wait, where's the style exactly? I can't see it. Can you point to it?
Like, just this kind of. Everything looks kind of like fuzzy or something. Here's that. This should be like a cool, like, easy picture.
Oh,
with like that's what I'm trying to be. The ladies.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
See, that's a redeeming page.
But it's not because of the asses, folks. It's because, like, look at the cityscape in the background.
No, it's only the women that make that page.
no. Like the I don't know how to describe it. The way that the image.
Something about that chick's shoulder is off as well. Like her
actually,
left shoulder.
You're right, Frederick. Their bodies are all twisted up. Actually, that could be a man.
Right.
Well, is Billy Bobstack still in the chat? He can let us know if this is a man or a woman.
It is a trans woman, is what you would say, Carbon.
What does Billy Bobstack know about that?
Bigoted fuck, Carbon.
But no, it's just there's like a.
What is Billy Bobstack? You remember last? Oh, you weren't here last episode. I forgot about that.
Yeah, this page looks good.
Oh, he brought up the anime chick that's a man.
Yeah, he got me.
Yeah.
There was no bulge. For the record, there was no bulge.
You didn't even see it for the longest time. Like, as soon as they started asking you about the picture, you should have just known. Like, there's no good answer.
Yeah, you're right. I should have known, but
I
was.
You don't like women? Ooh.
I was giving him a chance, to be nice, a nice guy. Speaking of nice guys, Survive Infinity 0088. Hail Comicsgate Commandos. What's up, brother? Thank you for coming in. Wrangler says, I got to call it a night. Have a good one, everybody, and God bless. Thank you, Wrangler. God bless you, too. Appreciate it, man. Cammy says, are all his books like 3 or 4 panels per page? Maybe.
It does. You know what? I actually see. That's what I was gonna say. Is I got a bunch of issues of Supreme that I had that are all by Joe Bennett as well. So that's why I was gonna kind of like look through them.
Mm-hmm.
This is
in his defense, Cammy. Modern artists, it seems they have trouble sometimes doing more than 4 panels a page. Like, the old guys like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, they could do 9, easy peasy. But a lot of these new guys seem to have issues.
It's Joe Bennett.
Not necessarily a problem though to have 3 or 4.
I agree.
Yeah.
Starts off one big smash panel.
Yeah. Look at that, beautiful.
Why does that look 10 times better though than Horseman?
This is Joe Bennett as well.
Yeah.
There's no way, dude. This is like
this is him. This is back
night
in
and day. What's the?
This is 30 years ago.
Weird. Thanks,
he's an old timer. He's 30 years have been doing this stuff.
Dude, that shit looks sick.
It
is. Yeah, I mean,
that looks way better.
you could tell when an artist is inspired by the story he's working on as well. Like if you give him bland material, he's going to put out bland art as well because the story's not inspiring. You got to have something that triggers your imagination and gets you, motivated to make things pop in the page and look awesome, But
Exactly,
if the story's bland, art can't take off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The settings that I'm seeing in Horseman is the same settings in Isom, where it's like a parking lot to a club and
Right.
like a warehouse. It's just like
right. And then you got to work with characters that aren't yours that you may not really give a damn about. But yeah, that was cool. Great show. Thank you guys. Thanks for coming on here. Let me post Mike Barron's link in the chat one more time here. But yeah, thanks guys for coming out. It's a good time.
Are you going to talk to Katie about doing our own award show?
Actually, I think that's been taken out of our hands. I'm pretty sure Ethan is kind of taken over that, and he's going to just kind of. It's easier for him anyway because he can get people to do an Indiegogo campaign for the statues or the trophies.
Yeah, he's going to make trophies just like we said.
Yeah. So, but I don't think that I don't think that Katie and I will be completely out of the loop on that. I think we'll do what we can to help. And I'd like to bring all the Commandos on to help. Yeah, it's all, but it's all up in the air. We'll see what happens. But thank you guys for coming on tonight. Thank you for you guys who were in the chat last night. I really appreciate that support. When I was on that show last night, I really did appreciate it. So thank you guys for showing out for that. And thank you for being here. Thank you for asking cool, interesting questions that my brain just completely farted on to Mike Barron. I really appreciate that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the show, I guess. Right?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to end it on I guess this is it, folks. I thought we would have anyway.
It's happened.
No, I just feel awkward because, this whole time